I hunt, I fish, I care more about the environment than most people, or the average person, I would say, because, look, I go shopping at God's grocery store, right? You know, I put venison on the table, I put fish on the table. It's kind of how we live oftentimes. So it always amuses me when I hear these Green New Dealers talking about this. Oh, we need to bulldoze 1,000 acres of farmland and turn it into solar panels to save the planet. I'm like, really? Bulldoze all those little woodland creatures into oblivion so we can save the planet. Anyhow, I've also been reading recently about judges being groomed to give the right decisions when it comes to Green New Deal nonsense. O.H. Skinner is the executive director of the Alliance for Consumers, joining me now to discuss this further. O.H., nice to have you here.
It's nice to have you. Thank you for having me on.
So you refer to these folks as a climate cult. I think that's exactly right. They have this religious adherence to things that are just ridiculous, really ridiculous. And most of these people have never been off the concrete long enough to understand how the natural world actually works. But hey, they read Red Book magazine. It's got cute, fuzzy creatures in it when they're at the doctor's office. So they got that going for them. And now they want to pay off judges. I mean, basically, that's what we're talking about. You know, lobbying judges, sweetheart deals. Well, what's going on here?
Yeah, so what you've got is a classic left-wing scheme backed by dark money. And I think you flagged it right. In the name of climate change, one of the biggest things that the left has going right now for them is in the name of climate change, they're attempting to go after anybody who makes a product that they don't like or is on the wrong side and make them pay for the Green New Deal through court, through these public nuisance lawsuits. And that's a big deal for them because if you're trying to fix climate change, you can make somebody basically end their business and pay billions of dollars, right? And one of the things they've been doing, we figured out, is using a group called the Environmental Law Institute's Climate Judiciary Project. And that group is going around and running educational programs for judges under the guise of being neutral. And that's fine, I guess, you know, if you want to run a program at a state university that teaches a judge about how to be a better judge, I mean, okay. But what they're doing is they're allowing people, the same activists and professors who are promoting these lawsuits, filing briefs in these lawsuits and building these lawsuits intellectually, to build the modules. So they're basically trying to launder left-wing ideas, left-wing talking points through something that it presents itself as being neutral. And so what we're doing is we're calling that out because if the judges and frankly the people who are hosting them knew that this was a left-wing group and that this wolf came as a wolf, it would make it a lot easier to just shut it down.
Yeah, and so what does this tell us about how we're being played, OH? What does this tell us about the state of the game? Because this is a game that's trying to shut down oil drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, a game that's trying to shut down. Look, if these folks had their way, they'd run a fence around Montana and Wyoming and not let anybody in ever. They would. They'd run a 10-foot fence around and say nobody allowed because we have to save planet Earth. So what does this tell us about the game that's being played?
I would say it's even worse, right? Because from the consumer's perspective, so you're talking about it as a guy who uses God's grocery store.
Sure.
I'm talking about it from the perspective of they can't get anybody who's in a legislature to actually vote to ban gas-powered cars, take away your refrigerator, take away your air conditioning. I mean, the New York Times just had a story the other day in which somebody was talking about how great it was to live without air conditioning and without all sorts of other creature comforts because, you know, it's so good for the environment. They want to control the way you live and make you live a set of progressive lifestyle choices. And they're trying to use the courtroom. As if that's not bad enough, something we talk about all the time, they're busy attacking the U.S. Supreme Court and trying to hurt all the justices that are upholding the rule of law there, while at the same time running a scheme to influence every judge they can find in every corner of America. They're using the Federal Judicial Center because they worked with the Environmental Law Institute. They're using state universities. And they are laundering these left-wing talking points and left-wing ideas and the people from these cases to these judges all over the country, while at the same time crying foul. So I agree with you. It's a game.
It is a game.
They want so badly to control your life that they will bend every rule.
let's talk about practical application just for a moment. You mentioned air conditioning. What would it be like in July, August, September, with no air in Florida or Mississippi or Arizona or Texas or Southern California for that matter? No air conditioning. We're going to save the planet by, first of all, jacking the price through the roof because they keep changing the refrigerant requirements. And a pound of refrigerant's gone from being about $1 to $110 a pound. And if you've got 8 pounds that need to be replaced, or 12, I mean, you can do the math and the machines go through the roof. And how about no furnace in Minnesota in, say, January? I mean, these are the kind of really ridiculous things we're talking about.
These are the ridiculous things they want. But I think the other thing that people need to realize is they never quite get so far as to ban anything that they actually want. They just make it breathtakingly expensive. You're allowed to have a refrigerator or a dishwasher if it's the one that is popular in a coastal enclave of California, is the most efficient thing that's ever existed in the history of mankind and costs $4,000. Nancy Pelosi is allowed to have 2 refrigerators that cost $10,000 because they are super efficient. Super efficient.
No, I'm telling.
It's just that if you're a regular person, you're not allowed to have it.
They're about 20 grand a piece. Those Sub-Zeros.
You're right. But if you're a regular person, you're only allowed to have that thing if it meets all of their litmus tests.
That's right.
And to your point,
so real quickly, how do people find you? Because we're tightening it. I'll have you back anytime because I want to talk about these things more in detail more often.
AllianceForConsumers.org and For Consumers on X. And we mostly talk about all the different things they're trying to do to make your life worse.
And miserable.
Yeah.
You know, and expensive. And remember, the most regulated appliance is your dishwasher. Strange. Anyhow, say those websites. Websites one more time.
It's AllianceForConsumers.org. Whether it's dishwashers, refrigerators, they are trying to make your life harder, and they are going to stop at nothing to do it.
Alliance for Consumers on X. I just followed you. Great to have you here. Thank you.
Thanks
so
for
much.
having me.
All right. Quick break.